Hey, good morning. You are right on time. Come on in and get a seat around the couch. We're just about to start today's lesson. It's the forbidden song. Look who's here, baby. Thank you for dropping by today to spend some time with me here on the couch. Boy, do we have a good one for you today. November 8th, 1971, 52 years ago today, Led Zeppelin released their untitled album that would become known as Led Zeppelin 4. Stairway to Heaven was the last song on side one and was never released as a single. Regardless, it's now widely considered to be the greatest classic rock song of all time by both critics and fans. In 1992, the film Wayne's World brought the song once again into the spotlight, but this time as a meme that made fun of the song's tremendous popularity among guitarists in guitar stores.
No stairway. Denied.
This quick little scene branded Stairway with the moniker of the Forbidden Song. Let's jump right in with that instantly recognizable opening arpeggio riff. The song is written in the key of A minor, and the first four notes come from an A minor, but we only need the bottom four strings, or strings 1 through 4. So we're going to use our ring finger to fret the 7th fret of the D string. We're going to use our pointer finger to bar the 5th fret of strings 1 through 3, and we're going to play just straight down. First four notes of the song. And then we're going to switch. We're going to keep our finger barring the 5th fret. We're going to put our ring finger on the 7th fret of the high E string, and our middle finger is going to go to the 6th fret of the D. And the way we're going to play it is we're going to pluck up on the high E string at the same time we're picking down on the D string. And then the picking pattern after you've done that is 2, 3, 1. So it's, and we're going to let go with our fingers. We're going to put our pinky on the 8th fret of the high E string and continue to bar the 5th. We're going to use that same picking pattern. We're going to drop all the way down here to the 2nd fret. We're going to bar the 2nd fret with our pointer finger, and we're going to put our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, which is a D chord, right? That's a D. But we're going to put our ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string. So that makes this like a D over F chord. Same picking pattern. Now we're going to drop down 1 fret, and we're going to form an F major 7 chord with the open E. And that's gonna go like this. So we're doing the plucking picking thing. We're going strings 2, 3, 2, and then we're gonna go from 1, 2 to 3. So that whole first part. And we have this. So we're doing the plucking, picking, hybrid picking thing again, but we're strings. First of all, we're putting our pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and we're plucking the A and the G strings. Then we're putting our finger on the G string on the 2nd fret. That's the trickiest part right there, is the switch between those two chords. Kind of have to hurry down to this one. Then that first little section ends with the slide on the A string. We're going to slide up from wherever, we'll say the 5th fret, just for example's sake, but sometimes I start all the way down here. But we're going to slide up to the 8th fret on the E string. We're going to play it open, slide up to the 8th fret, and the 7th fret, and then open again. And then we go right back into it with strings 1, 2, and 3, or 3, 2, 1. So before we started on the 7th fret of the D string, which is an A note, right? So D, E, F, G, A, that's an A note, and that's an A note. They're just octaves apart. So again, the slide goes. Then we hit our bar on the 5th string, and we started the whole thing over. Second time you play through it, you do not do the slide, but we go into a second part here. So that's a walk up on the A string, open, open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret on the D string, open on the G, and then open on the high E. Then we make our D chord here, and we do the picking pattern that we've been doing with strings 4 and 1, then 2, 3, 1. We're going to go to this F major shape, F major 7, same picking pattern. Now we're going to take our fingers off except for the 2nd fret of the G string. We're going to pick and pluck strings 2 and 5, so the B and the A string, and then we're going to hit that 2nd fret on the G. We're going to go back up again. And this time we're going to use our thumb to hit the 3rd fret of the low E and our middle finger to hit the 3rd fret of the high E. We're going to pluck those at the same time. We're going to do a D chord. We're going to do a little pull off here from the 3rd to the 2nd fret as we pluck our 4th and 1st strings again, like we've been doing. And then play that D chord a couple times. We're going to do our walk up again, which is a C chord actually. This time we don't play the high E, we go ahead and play the last note in the C, the B string. Back to the D with the picking pattern, back to the F major 7. Time we just played straight down the D strings 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to play that F major 7 3 times. We're going to play through that opening sequence 2 complete times. The second time through, we are not going to do the slide on the A string. We're going to leave that part out. We're just going to start playing again from scratch. So we're going to go through the whole sequence 2 complete times. The third time we are going to play the slide, but our picking pattern is going to change slightly. Do the slide to start with. So up to this point everything is the same. When we change chords we're going to pluck the same, but now the pattern changes. Now we're going to go 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when we change to the next, the chord changes are the same, just the pattern's different. Now there's no pluck. Now we're going to play straight down and straight back up. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We drop down to the next chord. Same thing, straight down, straight back up. We go down here to our F major 7. It's going to be down and back, but we're going to do it twice. And now the same ending. That same ending that we're used to. Next, we're going to play this G over B chord. Just going to play it one time real quick, and that's going to get us set into the next section of the song. We're going to pick up both in tempo and intensity. Second section starts with just one downward stroke on the G over B chord. So our pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And then we go to an A minor 7, which is ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E, pointer finger on the 1st fret of the B string, and our middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D. We're playing strings 5 through 1. Go through that little strumming pattern, then we're going to lift our ring finger for one downward stroke. Then a D suspended chord covering the 3rd frets of the E and the B strings, one downstroke. And then we're going to go to a D chord. Again, that section. After we played through that once, we're going to start it a second time, and it's the same until we lift our ring finger. Now we're going to go up to the 7th fret of the E string with our pointer finger, 8th fret of the B string with our middle finger, G string is 9th fret with our ring finger, playing down strings 5 through 1 one time. We're going to go down 2 frets, so pointer finger on the 5th fret of the E, but as we slide down, we're going to switch these fingers around to where they cover the 7th fret for both the G and the B. Still strings 5 through 1, down one time. Down 2 frets, exact same position. And then back up 2 frets, same position. So again, that entire section. Now the verse starts and it goes to a C chord. We're just going to do a simple picking pattern, straight down strings 5 through 2. E minor 7 covering the 2nd fret of the A, again strings 5 through 2. We're going to go to an A minor. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Then we're walk up to a C on the A string. E minor 7. And then a C to an A minor. Plays through it again. Starts it a third time, but this time after you start it, after the first 2 chords, it puts you back into the strumming pattern. Back to the A minor 7. And so forth. Plays through that complete progression 4 times. The 3rd time is when John Bonham comes in on the drums, and at the end of the 4th time, that gets us set up for the 3rd and final section. In a BBC interview, Jimmy Page said that the idea was for the solo to be introduced by a fanfare that would also serve as a transition into the 3rd section, and that then the solo would soar right on through. And soar it does. Let's take a closer look now at not just the solo, but the entire soaring final section of the song. Wayfarer starts out with a D sus2 chord, so my pointer finger, D sus2. Pointer finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the G string. Middle finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the B. The E string is open. I'm playing strings 5 through 1. And now I'm just going to flatten out my pointer finger and I go to a regular D chord. Now I'm also going to flatten out my middle finger, so it's covering the 3rd fret of the E and the B strings. G string is still covered by my pointer finger. That's the 3rd tone. It ends back on the D there, and then we go to a C add 9. So my middle finger is on the 3rd fret of the A, my pointer finger is on the 2nd fret of the D string, and my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the B string. And that sends a swing right into the solo. Stairway Solo is based on the A minor pentatonic scale. It is a quintessential blues rock guitar solo. It's naturally broken into 10 separate little sections with breaks in between each one. That makes it a little bit easier for us to learn and memorize. The first section goes like this. Starts out with a bend on the 7th fret of the G string. It's kind of a slow bend, a little vibrato at the end. And then we go to the 5th fret of the E, 8-5 on B, 7-5 on G, 7 on D to 7-5 on G, 7-5 on D, and then we end at the 8th fret of the A. Next section sounds like this. Starts with a bend up at the 8th fret of the B. Catch the 8th fret of the E with your pinky, play it twice. Bend that 8th fret up. Bring it back down and play it again. 5th fret of the E. And we're going to slide from 8 to 10 on B, and as soon as we do, we're going to play the 8th fret of the E. And the last little part has a little rhythm to it. So that is 10-8 on the E, 10-8 on the B, 10 on the G, and then 8-10 on the B. Next one goes back to our original position, starts with that bend up on the 7th. Bend it up, but this time it's a little bit different because we're going to go straight down. We're going to play the 5th fret of the B and the E. Back to 8-5 on the B, 7-5 on the G, 7 on the D to 7 on the G to 5 on the G, 7-5 on the D. This time instead of going to the 8th of the A, we're just going to do the 7th of the A. Now back to 5 and then 7 on the D, and then 3 notes of the 5th fret of the G string. Next section starts at the 5th fret of the E. So there's no bend up on the 7th this time. It just starts right at the 5th fret of the E. 8-5 on B, 7-5 on G, and then back to that same little lick with the 7 on D to 7-5 on G. Now we're going to do 7-5 on D twice, and end back at the 8th fret of the A. Next section, we're going to slide up on the A string from 10 to 12, and we're going to play the D and then the G string at the 10th fret. So it starts with that slide, and then the D and G, and then 12 to 10 on the D, 12 on the A, 10 to 12 on the D, and then we're going to slide up to 14. We're going to go to 12 on the G, play that twice. We hit the 14th fret of the G, and then the 13th fret of the B. Then we're going to bend up the 15th fret of the B string. Bend it back down, let go, and play the 13th fret of the B, back to the 15th to the 13th. And we're going to go up here to the E string. Bend it up once. Let it come back down, and then play the 13th fret of the E. Bend up the 15th fret of the B slightly. When it comes back down, play the 13th fret. Again, that whole section. The next section starts with, I know when I'm thinking about the sections, I like to put those two notes at the end of the last section, but it's actually the beginning of the next section. Got a little carried away there. I went into the next section, but this one starts out with the, let's see, that's 14th fret of the G string to the 13th fret of the B. Then we're going to bend up the 15th fret. As we come back down, we pull off, let the note ring at the 13th fret of the B, and then we hit the 14th fret of the G again. So it starts out G string on 14 to 13 of the B. Then we do our bends. We do 8 of those bend pull-offs back to the G string. Actually, after the 7th one, the 8th bend is going to be up here at the 15th fret of the E string. Okay, then that's the end of that section. So it's like this. Next little section is going to be so right after that bend, at the end of the last section on the E string, we go 15 to 12 on the E, 15 to 13 on the B, 14 on the G, 15 on the B, 13 on the B. That's G string at 14, 13 on the B, 15 on the B. Bend that B string up at the 15th, and as we do, we're going to catch the E string with our pinky. So now we've got both notes sounding. As it comes back down, we're going to pull off again and go back to the 14th fret of the G. Next section goes up to frets 7 17 and 19. We're going to bend up 19 on the G while we're barring the 17th fret of the B and the E with our index finger. Play both of those, then we're going to play the 20th fret of the B back to the bent string here. So that last little part, once we get back to the G string, bend up, pull off to the 17th, go to the 19th of the D, 19, 17 on G, 19 on D to 17 on G. We end with a bend up on 19 of G. Come down here on the B string to the 10th fret. We're going to bend it up. So bend it up once. When it comes back down, we're going to bend it again. Play it, and then play the 8th fret of the B. And then we're going to go back and forth between 10 and 8. And we're going to go to 9 on the G, and when we play it, we're going to slide it up to 14. Next section, we're going to drop down to the 3rd fret, or the 5th fret, I'm sorry, of the B string. Bend up that 5th fret of the B, and then we go up here to the 7th fret of the G, and we're going to go back and forth between 7 and 5 3 times. To the 9th. Now we're going to hammer on from 7 to 9, pull back off, and after we pull off, we're going to slide back down to 5. And then end on the 7th fret of the D. And then the end, the funnest part in my mind, goes through that 4 times. So I'm barring the B and the E strings at the, what is that, 17th fret, and I'm hitting the 20th fret of just the E string with my ring finger. After I play it, I pull off to the 17th of the E, and then I play the 17th of the B. Last time you bend up, does it 4 times. Then we go down here to the so all we're doing there, we're actually past the end of the solo. We're starting back to the end of the song. I'm doing the full chords there. You don't have to, obviously. It's an A to a G to an F. You could just do power chords. So instead of the full bar chord, if you want to just do a power chord, you can play just the top 2 strings there on 5 and 7, or you can go 5 on E, 7, 7 on the A and D. It does that 4 times, and when it starts to do it the 5th time, we're going to add in this little lick, which is the second funnest part of the song to me after. So you can do it either with the full chords or the power chords. As soon as you hit that chord right there at the F, you go. on the dots. You got to hit either the chord there, or the chord, or even just the F note. Then we're going to hit the 3rd fret on the E string. We're going to slide up from the 3rd dot to the 5th dot, from the 3rd fret marker to the 5th fret marker. We're going to play the 3rd on the A string. Slide from 5 to 7. Back to 5, back to 3. So really pretty simple, but it sounds really cool. Goes through that 4 times. After those 4 go-throughs are over, we're back to... But now it just kind of lets it sit on that F chord. Does that twice, and then it goes into the bends. What I'm doing is I'm separating my fingers. My pointer is on the B string, starting out on the 3rd fret, and my ring finger's on the 5th fret of the G string. I'm going to play both strings, but as I do, I'm going to bend. I'm bending the G string up. We want to bend it a full step so it comes up to the pitch of the other note that I'm playing. Then same position, same thing at 5 and 7. Then we go up to, 8 and 10. And then 10 and 12. And then we're going all the way up to 13 and 15. Back to 12 and 14. Goes back and forth between those 2 3 times. We're going to go up to 15 and 17. Back to 12, or back to 13 and 15. Back to 12 and 13. Or 12 and 14, sorry. Back to the 15 and 17. And then it ends right here at 13 and 15. So that whole little section. And that's the end of the song. The music for Stairway to Heaven was written by Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones, with the lyrics being written entirely by Robert Plant. In a BBC interview, Jimmy Page said that the song was not spontaneous at all, but was actually written and recorded over a period of months. Each of the 3 distinct sections were specifically designed to increase in tempo and intensity, culminating with the guitar solo and the ending measures. Robert Plant routinely performs Led Zeppelin songs when touring as a solo artist, but he's very rarely sung Stairway to Heaven live since Led Zeppelin disbanded in 1979 following the passing of their drummer John Bonham. Recently, he performed the song for the first time in 16 years. He's frequently asked why he avoids such a widely renowned song, and in the past he said that if he had written the music to the song, he'd be quite proud, but that the lyrics were written in his early 20s and he doesn't quite feel the same about them now. In a recent interview, he said that perhaps he's still just trying to work out for himself the things that he was talking about in the song. At some point in our lives, we all start to consider our own immortality and what comes after this for us. The truth is that we cannot buy a stairway to heaven. We can't purchase or even earn our way in. In John 1:51, Jesus said that he is the stairway to heaven, that he is Jacob's ladder. He is the bridge between heaven and man. John 14:6 says that Jesus is the way and the truth and the life, and that no one gets to the Father but by him. If these are questions that you've been asking yourself, I'd encourage you to seek Jesus with all your heart. You will find your answers there. If you found benefit or enjoyment in this video, I'll ask that you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I hope to see you next time back here on the couch.